Deep winter seals the coastal cove in absolute, unbroken stillness. Thin layers of clean, untouched frost coat every dune ridge. The tide grass is fully frozen, silver and stiff, standing motionless in the windless cold, no longer swaying, no longer growing, no longer striving. The ocean comes to a glassy gray, blue surface, waves locked in slow, silent rhythm, as if the entire sea has paused to abide by winter's quiet rule. The sky is a constant pale, frosted white. No sun glare, no harsh shadow, no shifting cloud. Time moves slow here, stretched thin by the cold stillness. There are no accidents, no sudden storms, no unexpected blooms, only predictable, steady, unchangeable winter order. The world outside is fixed, still, controlled. The cabin stands as the only living warmth in the frozen coast. Finn keeps the fire steady and unchanging, day and night, never too hot, never too dim. He arranges frost-colored sea stones in perfect neat rows on the windowsill, stacks firewood in precise order, keeps every blanket folded perfectly. In winter, he says, routine is warmth. Order is safety. Juniper weaves rigid, structured winter grids with frozen grass, straight lines, even stitches, perfect symmetry. No loose threads, no messy edges, no randomness. Winter weaving is calm, controlled, unwavering. Elias carves symmetrical wooden circles, flawless and balanced, no irregularity, no imperfection. They rest on the desk, silent symbols of human obsession with order. At 69 years old, I understand deep winter's final, hardest healing. Early winter heals the shame of ordinariness. Late autumn heals chaotic inner noise. Autumn heals regret and abandoned dreams. Deep winter heals the addiction to control. It heals the souls who cannot bear uncertainty, who plan every detail, fix every flaw, control every person, every outcome, every variable. Afraid that without their grip, everything will fall apart. It was on a windless, frozen deep, winter day, when the whole world was fixed and still, that the control-bound traveler stepped onto the frosted shore. Chapter 136 The woman who could not let life unfold. She walked along the frozen tide line with precise, measured steps. Every movement was intentional, neat, controlled. Her hair was perfectly arranged, her coat buttoned exactly straight, her hands folded tight and rigid at her sides. There was no mess in her posture, no softness in her demeanor, no room for error. Her name was Ingrid. 35 years old, and she had spent her entire adult life gripping life tightly. Ingrid was the planner, the fixer, the organizer, the overseer. She planned every day down to the minute. She controlled every detail of her work, her home, her relationships. She fixed every imperfection immediately. She anticipated every risk, every mistake, every worst-case scenario. She did not allow mess. She did not allow randomness. She did not allow life to happen to her. She believed control equaled safety. She believed letting go equaled disaster. She believed if she stopped holding on with all her strength, everything she loved, everything she built, would crumble. On the surface, her life was flawless, orderly, successful. Beneath it all, she was exhausted, bone deep, silently exhausted. From carrying the weight of the entire world's unpredictability alone. I cannot stand when things go wrong, she whispered, stepping into the cabin's steady warmth, her voice tight with years of suppressed tension. I have to fix everything, plan everything, manage everything. If I stop controlling, I'm terrified life will break me. This is the quiet, exhausting prison of controlling souls, you believe your safety depends on your grip. You believe chaos is always coming. You believe surrender is dangerous. So you hold on tighter, harder, longer, until your strength runs out and your heart grows rigid. Chapter 137 Learning that life does not need to be fixed. Ingrid's first days at the cabin were agonizing for her structured mind. She would straighten our folded blankets. She would rearrange our stone arrangements. She would correct uneven weaving threads. She would plan her walks to the exact minute. She could not tolerate the cabin's gentle, intentional imperfection. She could not abide the cove's natural randomness. She could not rest unless everything was neat, ordered, predictable. We did not correct her. We did not rush her. We simply let her witness the frozen winter world. Finn walked the frosted dunes with her each silent morning. "Look at the winter," he said softly. "It does not control the wind. It does not force the frost. It does not fix the clouds. Winter simply allows. It surrenders to the season, and in surrender, it is steady, strong, unbreakable. You control life to feel safe," he told her. "But safety is not in your grip. Safety is in life's ability to unfold, even without your management." Juniper intentionally wove loose, uneven winter grass in front of her messy threads, unstructured shape, no symmetry. "Perfect order is artificial," Juniper said. "Nature has loose edges. Life has messy parts. Love has unplanned moments. Happiness lives in the spaces you refuse to let exist." Elias placed an imperfect, naturally shaped driftwood piece in her palm, uneven, asymmetrical, unpolished. "This is real life," he said. "Not perfect circles. Not neat grids. Not controlled outcomes. Real life is irregular, unpredictable, messy and still beautiful, still whole, still safe. Slowly, very slowly, Ingrid's rigid grip began to loosen. She watched the frozen grass stand steady without being arranged. She watched the tides rise and fall without being planned. She watched the winter world survive perfectly well. Without human control, without human fixing, without human management. She realized the greatest lie she'd lived by for decades. She was not holding life together. She was only exhausting herself. The world does not depend on your control. It depends on its own gentle, unshakable rhythm. Chapter 138 The Tide Letter for the Controlling Heart. On the coldest, stillest night of deep winter, when the frost glistened silent on every dune and the entire coast lay in perfect surrender, Ingrid sat at the writing desk and wrote the letter that unchained her tired soul. Dear me, who held on too tightly for too long, I thought control was strength. I thought planning was safety. I thought fixing every flaw was survival. I gripped life so hard I forgot how to breathe. I feared mess, feared uncertainty, feared the unknown. I believed without my tight grip, everything would break. But the frozen winter cold has taught me truth. Life does not need me to hold it together. The tides rise without my permission. The seasons turn without my planning. The world spins without my management. My control was never protection. It was exhaustion. It was fear. It was bondage. Today, I release my need to fix everything. I release my need to plan everything. I release my need to control people, outcomes, and days. I choose surrender over grip. I choose trust over fear. I choose to let life unfold naturally, gently, freely. I am safe even when I am not in control. She folded the letter with soft, unforced hands walked the frost, crisp sand path in the silent night, and placed it gently in the tide box. For the first time in her adult life, she did not adjust, did not fix, did not plan. She simply was free, loose, unburdened. Chapter 139 The Gift of Surrendered Peace. Before Ingrid left the frozen cove, as deep winter began its slow, quiet turn toward the coming thaw, she left two deeply meaningful gifts for the cabin's eternal collection of healed stories. She wove a deliberate, imperfect winter grass tapestry, loose threads, uneven edges, unstructured shape, no symmetry at all. She wove chaos and order together, representing the beauty of real, unpolished, uncontrolled life. She tucked a thin silver frost thread into the ancient patchwork quilt, a new stitch for every tired soul gripping life too tightly. She left a quiet, powerful note in the driftwood journal for every controlling, planning, overbearing heart. You do not have to fix every flaw. You do not have to plan every future. You do. She left steady, soft, and free. Chapter 140 Deep Winter's Final Eternal Wisdom. The deep winter cove breathes softer now, after Ingrid's healing. The frost rests gentle on the dunes. The frozen grass stands unforced and steady. The sea lies calm without management. The entire coast exists in perfect surrender. I sit on the porch swing, wrapped in the full, layered patchwork quilt that holds every healed story of the year, and I feel the final wisdom of the complete winter season settle into my bones. We heal loneliness in midwinter. We heal ordinary shame in early winter. We heal inner noise in late autumn. We heal exhausted giving in late summer. We heal uncertain floating in midsummer. We heal guarded hardness in spring. We heal regret in autumn. We heal abandoned dreams in fall. We heal anxious waiting in the thaw. And finally we heal the need to control. So many of us spend our lives gripping, planning, fixing, managing. We fear mess. We fear change. We fear uncertainty. We fear life unfolding outside our narrow vision. But winter teaches us the last, greatest lesson of all. Strength is not holding on forever. Strength is knowing when to let go. Safety is not in perfect order. Safety is in trusting life's gentle rhythm. You do not have to carry the weight of the world. You do not have to fix every broken thing. You do not have to control every ending. Life is bigger than your fear. Life is kinder than your planning. Life is steadier than your tightest grip. The frost will melt. The grass will grow. The tides will turn. The seasons will shift. Everything unfolds exactly as it is meant to. Without your control, and perfectly, beautifully, safely whole. Breathe loose now. You can finally stop holding on. It is all going to be okay. A brand new spring breathes softly over the cove. The heavy deep winter frost relinquishes its hold at last. The rigid silver frost coating the dunes melts drop by drop, seeping back into the warm waking sand. The frozen tide grass unclenches its stiff blades, softening into pale tender green at the roots, shaking off months of stillness to welcome new life. The ocean lifts from its gray winter slumber. Pale blue ripples replace the glassy cold surface, waves rolling lighter, brighter, freer, carrying the crisp, clean breath of renewal. The sky clears to a faint baby blue, streaked with wispy white clouds that drift lazily, no longer heavy with winter chill. There are no grand blooms yet, no lush green vistas, no loud spring spectacle. This is the quietest, most sacred kind of spring, the beginning. Tiny, invisible, uncelebrated growth stirring beneath the sand, small slow shifts no one notices, gentle progress that unfolds in secret. The cabin wakes gently with the new season. Finn opens the windows wide for the first time in months, letting the thawing coastal wind sweep through every room, clearing the stillness of winter and making space for new light. He sets out fresh blank parchment, refills glass jars with clear spring water, and arranges newly thawed smooth shore pebbles along the sills, marking the start of a new cycle of healing. Juniper gathers the first tender newborn tide grass shoots, pale and fragile, and begins weaving the softest tapestry of the year, thin green threads woven with clear empty space, honoring slow growth, quiet starts, and unhurried progress. Elias carves tiny budding sprigs of driftwood, miniature and unassuming, no grand shape, no bold detail. He places them on the writing desk, a quiet reminder, all massive joy, all great healing, all beautiful lives begin with small, unremarkable steps. At 70 years old, I welcome this new year's first gentle healing. Last year's seasons healed our deepest weights, letting go of control, embracing ordinariness, calming inner noise, forgiving abandoned dreams. This newborn spring heals one of life's most overlooked, unkind habits, the failure to celebrate our small wins. It heals the souls who only value big milestones, who dismiss tiny progress, who punish themselves for not growing fast enough, who let every quiet victory pass unhonored and unseen. It was on the first thawing morning of the new spring, when the world was full of quiet invisible growth, that the ungrateful striver walked the shore. Chapter 142. The woman who dismissed all her small progress. She walked the thawing tide line with quiet restlessness, her eyes fixed forward, never pausing to glance at the new green shoots pushing through the sand, never noticing the brighter sky, never acknowledging the gentle shift of the season. her posture was tired, not from struggle, but from endless dissatisfaction. Her name was Lyra, 27 years old, and she had spent her entire life only chasing grand success. Lyra lived by one unforgiving rule: only big achievements count. Small progress is nothing. She healed a little. Not enough. She improved a little. Still failing. She tried again today. No victory to celebrate. She softened one bad habit. Still not where she needs to be. She measured her worth only by massive milestones, big promotions, huge breakthroughs, dramatic transformations, obvious success. Every tiny, quiet, difficult, small win. Getting out of bed on hard days, choosing kindness over anger, resting instead of overworking, trying again after failure, calming one anxious spiral, surviving one hard season. She dismissed all of it as meaningless. She never celebrated herself, never honored her effort, never paused to acknowledge how far she'd come. Her eyes were always fixed on the distant finish line, so she never saw the hundreds of small, brave steps she'd already taken. I'm always moving forward, but I never feel proud, she murmured, stepping into the cabin's fresh spring warmth, her voice hollow with quiet burnout. All my small progress feels useless. If I don't have a big win, I feel like I'm stagnating, like I'm doing nothing at all. This is the silent, soul-crushing flaw in how we grow. We are taught to celebrate finales. We are never taught to honor the journey. We praise finished success. We ignore daily courage. We glorify big leaps. We dismiss the thousands of tiny, brave steps that actually build a life of healing and growth. Chapter 143 Learning that small wins are the real miracle. Lyra's first days at the cabin were marked by persistent dissatisfaction. She would look at the barely sprouted grass and call it insignificant. She would watch the slow melting frost and call it no real change. She would notice her own gentle improvements and brush them off as trivial. She believed growth had to be visible, dramatic, instant. She believed progress had to be impressive to matter. We did not show her grand blooms or full summer abundance. We showed her the new spring's honest truth. Finn walked the thawing dunes with her each morning, kneeling to show her the tiny green shoots breaking through the sand. "Look closely," he said. No spring bloom bursts into full beauty overnight. Every massive summer meadow begins with one tiny, fragile, unnoticeable shoot. All big growth is just hundreds and thousands of small wins stacked together. The world only shows you the finished flower, he told her. But all the real work, all the real courage, all the real growth happens in the quiet small steps no one claps for. Juniper let her weave with the fragile newborn grass. The threads were thin, easy to break, slow to build into shape. You cannot build a whole tapestry in one stitch, Juniper said softly. You build beauty one small gentle thread at a time. Your healing, your life, your growth is exactly the same. Elias held up his tiny budding driftwood carving. Big transformations are rare, he said. Small daily bravery is constant. The universe does not honor grand leaps most. It honors consistent, quiet, uncelebrated trying. Slowly, gently, Lyra's harsh self-criticism began to soften. She started listing her small wins instead of dismissing them. I got up even when I was tired. I chose peace even when I was frustrated. I rested instead of pushing myself to burnout. I forgave myself for a small mistake. I tried again, even when I felt hopeless. She realized the cruel lie she'd lived with, small progress is not nothing. Small progress is everything. There are no sudden miracles. There are only accumulated small wins, quiet courage, unrecognized effort, daily persistence. Chapter 144 The Tide Letter for the Soul Who Forgets to Celebrate. On a bright, soft newborn spring evening, as the last patch of winter frost melted from the dunes and tiny green specks dotted the entire shore, Lyra sat at the fresh writing desk and wrote the letter that rewrote how she saw herself. Dear me, who dismissed every small brave step, I have spent my life waiting for big wins to feel proud. I ignored my daily courage. I overlooked my quiet progress. I dismissed my gentle healing. I shamed myself for not growing fast enough, not changing drastically enough, not succeeding boldly enough. I thought only milestones had value. I thought small steps were wasted effort. But this new spring has taught me the truest truth of growth. There are no great lives made of only grand moments. Great lives are made of endless small wins. Getting up again is a win. Resting bravely is a win. Choosing kindness is a win. Letting go slowly is a win. Healing little by little is a win. I will no longer wait for huge breakthroughs to honor myself. I will celebrate the quiet, unglamorous, beautiful work of growing. I am proud of every small step. I am worthy of praise in the middle of the journey. My slow progress is not nothing. It is everything. She folded the letter light and hopeful, walked the newly thawed soft sand, and placed it gently in the tied box, sealing a new promise to honor herself, always. For the first time in her life, she felt proud of trying, not just achieving. Chapter 145 The Gift of Honoring the Journey. Before Lyra left the newborn cove, as more tiny green buds sprouted across every dune hollow, she left two pure, hopeful gifts for the cabin's New Year collection of healed stories. She wove a delicate, sparse spring tapestry, thin pale green threads, plenty of empty space, no full coverage, no perfect shape intentionally made to represent slow beginnings, incomplete growth, beautiful unfinished progress. We hung it at the front of the cabin, the first artwork of the new seasonal cycle. She wove a tiny pale green newborn thread into the ancient patchwork quilt, the first stitch of the new year. For every soul who dismisses their small wins and overlooks their own bravery. She left a soft, empowering note in the driftwood journal for every striver stuck waiting for grand success. You do not have to wait for the finish line to celebrate. Your trying is worthy. Your progress is worthy. Your slow healing is worthy. Every small step you take is building your life. Honor the journey. Celebrate the small wins. Be proud of yourself, always. Lyra departed the cove light and hopeful. She left with no massive breakthrough, no dramatic life change, no huge milestone. But she left with a life-altering shift. She finally knew how to cheer for herself in the quiet middle. Chapter 146 New Spring's First Sacred Blessing. The brand New Spring Cove grows brighter each day after Lyra's healing. More tiny shoots push through the thawed sand. The wind warms gentle. The tides rise lighter. The world grows beautiful, one small, unremarkable step at a time. I sit on the porch swing, tracing the first new green stitch in the year old quilt, and I hold this new season's first blessing close. So many of us live uncelebrated lives. We heal quietly. We grow slowly. We try bravely every single day. We fight small battles no one sees. We overcome tiny struggles no one knows about. And we never praise ourselves for it. But this new spring reminds us life is not made of a few big moments. Life is made of thousands of small, brave, beautiful ones. You do not need to be perfect to be proud. You do not need to have it all figured out to celebrate. You do not need grand success to be worthy of joy. Your small wins matter. Your slow growth matters. Your quiet effort matters. Your persistent trying matters more than you know. The spring does not shame its buds for not being full blooms. The tide does not dismiss its ripples for not being huge waves. The world honors slow, steady, faithful growth. You should too. This new year, start cheering for the small you. Start honoring the journey. Start celebrating every single brave step. and that is more than enough to celebrate.